Is there ever a reason to expect a magic mushroom cult? Yeah, they didn't anticipate the way this played out. Girl goes on a hiking trip with friends, they lose track of her, and she goes missing for months. Okay, well, the cops are on it. For what that's worth. Then, Payne picked up the thread as they approached the elevator. Then she gets spotted buying junk food at a gas station at the city's edge before disappearing again. Naturally, the cops treat that as proof she doesn't want to be found. She's alive and must know about the search for her. It's been all over the news. They stepped into the elevator. Agony pressed the button. She's 19. She's legally an adult. The cops have no reason to pursue it further. The parents swear up and down that something isn't right. When the cops don't listen, they come to the renowned Pain and Agony Detective Agency, famous for proving accusations of marital infidelity and finding grandmas who have wandered off. We pick up the trail, expecting a nice, easy case like all the others we've had lately, and instead... Pain laughed. We stumble on a cult using hallucinogenic drugs to control its members. Naturally, it's more like our old cases than our new low-stress ones, but what the hell? We have to have a little fun now and then to stay in practice, right? The elevator door slid open, and they walked into the corridor leading to their new office. Payne stopped as if he didn't want their employees to hear his next words. Seriously, that was a lot of fun. It almost makes me regret our decision to try to stay out of trouble. If you ever regret that, think back to Peregrine Rock. Payne, that was the most awful experience in my life. Payne frowned. Yeah, it wasn't great. Too many improvised weapons and homemade knives for a top-rated Airbnb. 0 stars. Would not recommend. I'm glad you can joke about it. When I think about the number of women who tried to stab or bludgeon me to death with a blunt object in there, it doesn't bear thinking about. Payne shrugged. I've always found the best therapy for PTSD is to inflict violence on someone else. Take this case, for example. You can't tell me it wasn't fun bashing heads once we'd cracked the case and found the cult's hideout. Agony started walking down the corridor again, and Payne followed. There was no harm in talking in front of Yolanda and company. So what if they were both nostalgic for the bad old days? If they hadn't tried to cover their tracks, they wouldn't have gotten their heads cracked. Yeah, that was fun. She approached the door of their office suite and glanced at the plaque. M. Payne and A. Joni, private investigators. She looked at Payne mischievously. What's your first name these days? Payne grinned. He was often Max, but in prison he'd been Maddox. Max Payne and Mad Payne. They were dumb jokes, but he enjoyed them. I don't know. How about Minor? She punched him in the arm. I think not. That's not even a name. Well, Major is a name. I saw it in a list of baby names. Agony blushed. Why was Payne looking at baby names? It was awkward, considering their situation was unresolved. Not that they'd considered having a baby, but still. Neither Payne nor Agony had made any move toward a real relationship, which put them in an odd spot. While in prison, Agony dealt with her mortality and the primal fear of dying alone. As for Payne, he'd lived a hard and dangerous life for many years and didn't want an unprepared person like his girlfriend Amy to suffer. That was why they'd broken up. He told Agony that Amy wasn't like him while Agony was. They'd left it there without another word for a strange reason. The threats that drove them together were no longer in the picture, now that they focused on easier and safer bread-and-butter detective jobs. They didn't seize the moment by seizing each other, and now they'd started drifting apart. They still bantered and gave each other as much grief as ever, but that was a shield, a smokescreen.